Here we go. Well, welcome to tonight's call. We're super excited to have our very own Jessica McLaughlin, our Silver Ambassador, share some takeaways about the power of belief that she's kind of gathered from convention and some different sources and things that she's reading. And like I said in the post, belief is definitely one of my favorite topics. I feel like it's kind of something you need to brush up on every month, if not every week. I mean, depending on how often you struggle, because there are definitely things that happen in the business that can be a bump in the road or just kind of discouraging. And so it always comes back to belief. So I'm super excited to hear what she has prepared for us, and I'm going to just hand it over to her. So take it away, girl.
Thank you. Okay, so belief are something that I have always been drawn to since we started in this business about a year ago. I think that the human mind is an amazing thing, and it is so powerful. And recently, before we left for convention, I kind of came to realize that I was struggling with my mindset, and that it was more negative than I really even understood how negative my own mindset was, and that I felt like I was maybe holding myself back a little bit. And I was looking into the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, because I'd heard that over the last year, like how wonderful that was and how helpful it was. And so I was like, well, you should get that. Maybe I'll listen to it on the plane to go to Vegas, and then I couldn't find it. And then I got on the plane and I got sat next to an Emerald ambassador and her Emerald husband ambassador, who was sitting next to her and their little kid. And they were so gracious and so sweet. And I looked over and I said, I hope you don't mind, but I'm probably going to pick your brain for like 2.5 hours till I get to Vegas. And she was super open, and she shared with me all of her tips and suggestions, and she was very sweet, and I learned a whole lot in 2.5 hours just about her and how she runs her business. And that was really neat to have that opportunity. But just after a few interchanges with her, I had this big light bulb moment of like, oh my God, the reason I am not further along in this business and the reason I'm struggling so bad is me. Like, I am my biggest problem. Well, I've got to work on this. Like, thank goodness for convention and the fact that it is about belief. And I just knew that it was going to be a really good a week of change for me. And so I went in open-minded. As soon as our plane landed and I got my Wi-Fi turned on, I ordered Amazon Primed What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and it was waiting for me when I got home. So I recently started that, and I've got some tidbits of that to work into the talk tonight. But one of our first convention speakers was Carrie Wilkerson. Is it Wilkerson? Well, yeah, Wilkerson. And she was just phenomenal in her own right. But one of the things that she said that really stuck out to me was that our beliefs can be really dangerous. And we all have beliefs about ourselves, about others, and about our organization. And when you break that down, like, what does that look like? Beliefs, my own beliefs, some of my own beliefs that are holding me back. I tell myself I'm disorganized all the time. I tell myself I'm inconsistent in working my business. I tell myself that I'm really terrible at follow-up, or I'm just not got it all together. But other things you might tell yourself: I'm an introvert. I don't have a big social network. I'm hard to talk to. I'm socially awkward. Whatever it is that you think about yourself that's not positive. And we all have those things that we say to ourselves. And then when you look at other people, some of the beliefs that we tend to put on about other people: she's got more time to work the business. She's more outgoing. She has a larger social network. She's got more well-connected friends. She doesn't work at all, so she's got plenty of time. Or she doesn't have as many kids as I do. Or just yachting. She doesn't have as much responsibility. Like, she's just made for this business, and I'm not. And then when you look at some beliefs that you might have about this organization, a lot of times people will say, like, man, if I'd only gotten in 2013 when everybody else did, I'd be a diamond ambassador. Or I got in at the wrong time, or my market's too saturated, or I just don't have what it takes to do this business and get to the top, or whatever it is that you have these beliefs about the organization. And Carrie says that one of the reason that these, hang on, let me pull it up because I'll screw it up just a second. Okay, so she says all of these statements are truths that we have created from beliefs that are false. I'll say that again. So they're truths that we've created for ourselves from truths that are false, from beliefs that are false. So just telling yourself things that aren't true. Another thing that she says is that excuses are lies that you tell yourself that no one believes but you. So that was something I did on the plane talking to that Emerald ambassador was made excuses. Well, I'm only a silver ambassador. Well, I'm busy. We just moved. I have 2 kids. I have a full-time job. Like I had all these excuses instead of being proud of where I am and believing that I'm going forward and that I am working hard and making gains in my business. So anyways, when Carrie got into that conversation about that being why our beliefs can be so dangerous when they're negative and they lead us to this place of self-doubt is that you have to arrest those negative thoughts. So whatever your beliefs are that you have culminated about yourself that are untrue, these untruths, you have to arrest them, call them out, figure out what they are, betray them, so break them apart, figure out what's untrue about them, and then correct them and replace them with something true that you do want yourself to believe. One of the things one of the biggest points that I was really drawn to in the beginning parts of Shad Homesteader's book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, was that our mind doesn't know the difference between positives and negatives. It doesn't know whether you're telling it something true or false. It just takes it as black and white, and your mind sets forward to put in motion those things that you teach it, or you tell it, or you program it to believe. And so you telling yourself that you're ugly every day, or that you're inconsistent every day, or that you're unorganized like I do, then your mind just goes to believing it. It doesn't know that that's fake or false or untrue or whatever. It heard you say it time and time and again, and then it just goes to making actions that follow that belief, however untrue it is. So I'm going to go back into that whole arrest, betray, and correct here in a little bit. But in this book that Shad Helmstetter wrote, he talks about the fundamentals of how to go about changing your mindset. And he talks, there's 5 different stages. You have programming that you're born with, that you've had since birth, like all the things in your life, the culmination of all the things your mom and dad said to you, any teacher you ever had, anybody, you're not a good listener, or you're smart and beautiful and funny. Like, I mean, every good and bad thing that you've ever heard has created you, and it's your internal programming. And your programming creates your beliefs, and your beliefs create your attitudes, and your attitudes create your feelings. And from your feelings, you determine your actions and what you're going to move forward and do. And your actions then create the results that you get. So if you want to correct those results and get better results or change the results, you have to go back to step 1, which is changing your programming. And that's kind of where I'm at in my journey of learning about all of my mindset and belief, and why I'm holding myself back is that I am, my programming is totally out of whack. And it's not that I'm a negative person. I'm a super positive person by nature. And I'm really good at lifting other people up and showing them their good qualities. But just as of recently, I've been like, man, I like draw blank when it comes time to talk about what I'm good at, or I just tell myself those silly things. The two that I keep saying out loud to you guys: I'm unorganized and inconsistent. Those are the 2 things I tell myself on a daily basis. Hideous. I'm working on it. So, so Shad talks about in his book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, obviously, self-talk. Self-talk is how we go about changing all of this, how we go about changing our mindset. And there are 5 different levels, and I'm only going to cover 4 because the 5th one is very abstract and like spiritual in nature. But the first 4 are things that are very practical that you can do on a daily basis, and will really have a powerful impact on how you move forward in your business and your life with your goals and all of that. So I just wanted to share because I think it's really neat and very powerful that we can affect that kind of change in ourselves. So level 1 is negative acceptance. So it's us saying, I can't remember to do that. I can't get to the mailbox to mail those samples. I can't figure out how to get my follow-up list organized. I can't find time to do my power hour every day. Those are negative acceptances that they're truth. You just say it. You say it to yourself all day long, and your mind believes it's true because it doesn't know the difference. So one of the things he says is these statements seem harmless and as if they're just words, but they're really the backbone to everything that stands in your way and works against you. So if you think about those simple little phrases as holding that kind of power and being the backbone to all that's keeping you from moving forward, then you realize how important it is to arrest them, betray them, and correct them, like Carrie said. So level 2 is the I need to or I should phase. So that's stating to ourselves and others that we recognize a need for change. So it might be like, I need to get more organized, but I'm not. I need to do the laundry, but I'm not. I need to reach out to 10 more people, but I haven't yet. And what's dangerous about those thoughts is that we aren't offering any sort of solution to the problem. We're just laying it out there and accepting it, and we don't even realize that those thoughts in themselves are negative. So one of the things that I've been practicing this week is when I have that thought and when I say that to myself that I need to or I should do this, I should follow up with A, B, and C, then I finish out that thought, but I haven't yet, because you don't always say the whole thought. You might just say, I need to reach out to A, B, and C and leave it at that. But really, if you finish out your sentence and said, but I haven't yet, then you realize now you've made a negative self-talk to yourself and you've set yourself back and you've put up a roadblock to making forward progress. So when you call out that, arrest it, label it, put it out there for yourself, to remind yourself that that's not the kind of talk that you're supposed to be giving yourself, and that it's not productive and it's not helping you move forward with your business and in your life in a good, positive way, then you can make those changes that you need to make just by even acknowledging what you're doing in the first place. Level 3 is I never or I no longer. So then at this point you're saying like, I never miss a power hour. So now you're changing and reframing the way you talk to yourself. I never go a day without reaching out. I never go a day without writing down the new people that I've talked to. I never skip a workout. I never miss a day of taking my products. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, it's reframing the way that your mind is processing that. Instead of saying like, man, I forgot to take my product again today. Instead, you're saying, nope, I never forget to take my product, and you're getting your hiney up and you're going and you're doing it because you're telling your mind that, and then your mind then creates the beliefs and the attitudes and the actions that you want instead of the ones that you don't want. And then level 4 is the most powerful level, where you're painting a new picture of yourself, and you're telling yourself, this is who I want to be, and then you're making your mind go and set it into motion and creating those actions that take you to the place you want. So I am organized. I am good at follow-up. I am outgoing. I am really good at this business. I am a gold ambassador. I am all of these things that I want to be. And then training your brain to do those action steps that you need to get yourself there and achieve those dreams and goals that you have for yourself, the big picture. So hang on, I'm looking at my notes because I think I've bopped around quite a bit. Da, 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 da. Oh yes, so here, I have a challenge for you all. Don't you love that? So that's what I'm challenging you to do, what I'm doing. If this at all sounds like you, and if this is at all something that you could also benefit from, at convention, they did an amazing job of filling our cup up and really showing us how we have all the right products, all the right tools. Our company is headed in the right direction. We are only skyrocketing every month. We're having the best sales of our lives. I mean, in company history, like there is zero reason for us to not be successful. The only hindering factor that all of us have is ourselves and our mindset and our belief, and the power that we hold to be successful in this business. And so I'm stopping right where I am right now as a silver ambassador working on being a gold. And I am changing and resting my mindset and those false truths that I've created for myself by doing that exercise of stop. I know I just said something negative that wasn't productive or helpful or helping me to move in the direction of my goals and my dreams. So I've kept a notebook, and you guys can keep a little notebook. I keep it in my purse and I write it down. And I write down my negative mindset. And then I do the arrest part or betray part where I break it apart and say why it's not true. And then I go back and I self-talk it into a new statement, and then I tell myself that, and then I chant that to myself, and then I say it over and over and over again, and I write it down again. I am organized. I am following up today. I am doing my power hour. I am doing those things using the level 3 and 4 self-talk. So I just challenge you guys, if that's something that you are dealing with, to take the time to do those action steps to create change in your mindset so that you too can move forward and we can all move up, which is what we all want. A few other like random tidbits to end my talk this evening. One of the things that one of the girls talked about was just that God put every single one of us on this team for a very, very specific purpose. It wasn't by accident that we were all placed on Ashley's team. It wasn't by accident that we're all here on this call together. It wasn't by accident that any of this has happened. So God put us here for a purpose, and it has a great plan for our lives and our business. And He wouldn't have given any of us the desire to work the business and make something of it for our families if He didn't think we were capable and He didn't want it for our lives. And so one of the things this morning that my preacher said in church was that you kind of have to lay down the desires of your heart and all of the things that you think you want for your life, and seek first God and His desires for your life. And so when you become in tune with His will for your life, then you will see great change in your life. When your wants and your desires become in tune with His wants and desires for your life. So for me, where I'm going with that is that God gave us the desire to be in this business and to have these amazing products and to help change people's health and their lives. And we just need to put down all of our false truths about ourselves and embrace the fact that God has a great plan and that He's using us as a mighty tool for the good of other people and their health and their lives, and to be a light for them. So I feel like we just need to really look into ourselves, lay those things down that are holding us back, and embrace and believe that God truly has put you in this business and in this team for a purpose, and that you have great things that you can bring to our team and to your business, and that you're going great places. What else? Les Brown, one of the things Les Brown said that I absolutely loved was that you need to see yourself as the answer to your dreams and goals. He gave this huge talk in some massive, like 80,000 people stadium, and it was about inspiration and motivation, just like he came and talked to us about belief and like being greater and doing greater. And he was living in a closet in his office down the street, and he was like hiding from the janitor so he didn't get kicked out, and he was bathing in the sink. And he was speaking as a motivational speaker to over 80,000 people because he believed he was destined for great things. He just financially was not. He did not have the means to back up that belief yet, but he did it anyways. And a couple of other things that he talked about was just really like all of them talked about the power of your mindset. So he said you need to boldly speak your goals and your dreams and believe in them, and then set your feet to work in your tush off to make those dreams come true. And I don't know how many times we heard it at convention, but they always say, pray like it's up to God and work like it's up to you. And I wholeheartedly believe that too. I had a Tamara Holloway. Oh yeah. So Tamara, during our silver training, the other two tidbits I was going to leave you with, one of the things is Tamara Holloway said, take time to invest in yourself. And I believe that that's kind of where I'm at and what I needed to do. And that set me into this whole power of mindset and belief and arresting these things that are holding me back. And then Melissa Eichenhorst also said, believe that you can do this and then decide that you will. So arrest those negative thoughts, change them to powerful, positive vibes. Believe you can, and then your actions will follow. I think that's all I have. Sorry if it was all over the place.
No, that was great. I love kind of stuff that's just not all, it wasn't all over the place, but you took a lot of different sources of things that you've been reading and things at convention. And I know those of us that didn't get to go, I mean, that's the thing.
There's a lot of good information.
Like, well, all those things tie together whenever you talk about mindset and belief, and people, you get the tidbits, and it's like good little one-liners that are good to just write down and read over and over to yourself. And so I love that book. I've talked about that book before, and it's super cheap. I mean, I don't have the electronic version, but I think I spent like $5, and it's kind of old. The cover can be very deceiving. So don't let that deceive you, because it's really worth, it looks like total 70s, but I think it was written in the 70s, but it's so good. It's so good, and kind of one of those books that you want to go back and revisit even after you've read it. One of the things that I was kind of thinking about, whenever you were talking about that with the 4 steps that you gave, is obviously, yes, like I think that we can go through those different phases or steps at multiple times throughout our business. But another thing to think about is, I mean, it's kind of like those steps of change. And so I know we get really frustrated a lot with our potentials who say they're ready to change, but then they don't order the products or whatever. And just kind of knowing those 4 phases, it's like, because I mean, I've had a lot of customers that say, I need to order these products. I really need to. I really should do something about my Coke habit, or I really should this or that. And it's, when you hear those words, I'm not saying turn and walk away, but just it kind of helps you get into their mindset a little bit and know the things that you say that won't work, and the things that you say that will kind of meet them where they're at, and kind of understand where they're at, and not push them to that next phase where you want them to be and they're just not ready to go. So it's good on all levels. It just kind of helps you. And then, I mean, you can even help your customers kind of break through what's holding you back, or whatever. So that kind of is one thing that stood out to me.